All right, so now let's get into something totally different yet similar. We're going to talk about long exposures. So these are moments in studio. We might have to kill some of the lights in here. We'll try it with them all on. I'll try and up the aperture enough to drown them out. You guys can kind of see here, this is a little bit of a ghosted image. It's a little bit bright, but if you notice, she's actually facing down here and then turns up this direction. So what we're going to do is I do 1 to 1.5 second exposures where we start away from the light. We pick the shot that we want. So she's looking into the light. It's nice and flattering, all that good stuff. This is just a lighter colored background, turned black. We're going to do the same thing in here. And we're going to use 2 lights, same thing as this shot. We have a main light and then a little bit of an accent light. And we're going to give just a general, real quick, brief movement for Tierney to do. So she's going to go from one side and then look into the light. But the whole trick is mixing that exposure and that shutter, dragging the shutter like that with manually firing your flash. So if you want to come over here, the keys to doing this are you need a tripod, and generally speaking, you need 1 light and a reflector or 2 lights. We're going to use 2 lights just to make it as interesting and as hard as possible. Get out of your guys' way so you can see the screen. And we'll use the 50 here just because. I think we're locked in. Find out soon enough. That's good. And I'm actually going to shoot from a low. Does this one have, there we go. Oh, I hate shooting that direction. Oh well. It doesn't matter, I'm not that big of a whiner today. Okay, so we're almost there as far as, I'm gonna have you scoot a little bit this way. Okay, so here's our frame. Wherever you're standing now, that's where you'll return to momentarily. Okay, what I wanna do is we're gonna light it similar to this, so we're gonna have 1 light over in this direction, casting light to her, so we can stick with this. It's gonna be a lot of shadow. You know what, we're going to use the beauty dish. And then we're going to use this as our accent light. So if you want to bring the beauty dish in, we'll bring this guy down, turn him way down. This is our accent light. It's going to go back in the corner. Oh! If my fingers were in there, I wouldn't have said that. So I have, yeah, we're moving on. That could have been really, really bad. I'm awake. All right, so you can go ahead and raise that up. I don't want to drop a beauty dish. Do you have the meter over there, or do I? In my pocket. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and shoot for, this is where we got to do a little planning, because we're going to actually shoot at ISO 100. We're going to go down to a full 1 second exposure, and that's why a tripod's important. The other thing that's important when shooting with this is a solid color backdrop in studio, because if you have something that's a lot going on, if you're not shooting on a tripod and you're trying to do this outside, your background's going to be a mess. So tripod is very key. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our aperture all the way up to 16, because I want to make it as dark in here as possible since we're dealing with these lights. I'm going to take a 1 second exposure without any strobes to see what the background looks like and if it's usable, unless we have to turn down some more lights. So it's still pretty bright. Is there a way we can turn down some of these lights? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do that. Especially the ones that are on the background. And it's not the end of the world if it's not totally, how about that one? That one's probably the main. Oh, there we go, perfect. All right, one more test shot. All right, this should hopefully be darker. It doesn't have to be black by any means. Okay, this will work. So I just need to recompose to get rid of the top of the seamless. So it's not going to be quite as dark, but what we can do is, I'm actually going to take my ISO down to low. Do one more test shot. Should be quite a bit darker yet. Perfect, there we go, that'll work. What's what? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, because this is going to be, the technicalities here are not nearly as important because of all the motion and everything. But what we are at, we're at low. We're at a 1 second exposure, which it's going to pop for only a second, but we're at f16. So what I really want to do is just make sure the exposure is somewhat correct. 2.8. At that low. Okay, so we need to go way up.
5.6. Does that dish feel like it's pointing at you?
All right, I'm going to see what power it's at in the back. All right, I'm actually just going to move it closer.
Yeah, the one behind you was firing too.
It was? That's all right. Okay, so I'm going to fire that again.
9.
That'll work. We can make this work. Just got to adjust slightly, and then we have our accent light here. So what we're going to do, this is a lot of trial and error, obviously. What we're going to do is you're going to start by facing away from the light. So turn your whole body, and what I want you to do is twist at the waist, almost like you're looking down, and you're going to make a movement where you end up, yep, just like that. And we're going to start simple on one spot where she's not moving her feet. So you're going to start right there, look down this way, and on 3, as soon as you hear this click, basically click, you're going to look up straight towards the light. Awesome. We're going to do a test shot. I don't know if the first one's going to work, but we're going to find out momentarily. So let's do one test. Everything's on. Let's test the flash. Now here's the trick. We're going to take the trigger off of our light, and as soon as she turns towards the light, because if I fire like this, just so we can fully be educated here, when I fire this 1 second exposure, oh look, she didn't even have time to look up, and this is going to be a shot of the back of her head. But what happens is I need to take this trigger off and fire it manually when she starts to look at the light. So we have a 1.3 seconds or 1 second for you to look up. So I want you to start leaning forward just a little bit so we have a little more movement. So on 3, as soon as you hear this click, you're gonna make your move. Ready? Go. All right, so I was a little early, but you can see we're slowly getting there. I want you to move even further, so I actually want you to lean forward and then move back, so that way we can get more of a horizontal blur here. So ready, when you hear the click, go. And if we had a totally blacked out room, you could really see it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to...
Do you want a black V-flap behind you?
Yeah, let's try this.
We just killed more lights. So.
Yeah, let's try this. All right. Ready, go. All right, we're getting there. See, she's ghosted in there a little bit. What we need to do, let's see. All right. In fact, this time I'm going to fire it twice. I'm going to fire it when she's in that down position. Oh, yeah, there we go. John's the man.
Is that blocking the...
Just a little bit. Shouldn't be trusted with this thing. All right, let's try that. So we're going to fire this twice. And when we get to that upright position, so I'm going to let it fire on its own. And then, so when you hear that click, it's going to flash. And then I want you to move up to where you are looking at the light. So ready, go. Oh, we got some sort of funkiness happening there. So what I need you to do is, so she's moving within her own shadow this time, so you need to move even more. So you need to start down here. And then you need to make that movement more horizontal. So like that, there we go. All right, ready? I'm going to turn this light down just a little bit. All right, ready, go. So the key is beating that shutter speed. So we're getting closer. And basically what I'll do for multiple exposures is I'll layer these on top of each other, and then you can have a whole bunch of different actions. So let's do it one more time. I'm not going to do the initial flash. We're going to pull that guy out. So you're just going to go on the click. Ready? Go. What I need to do, we need just a little bit. I'm going to turn the modeling light on so we can, because when you're trying to capture the initial motion, now that we have a black background, we can really do this. All right, ready? Go. See, we're starting to ghost her in because you need a little bit of light to capture her. I'm gonna come a little bit closer. I'm gonna have you looking at the same place I gotta go towards the backdrop a tiny bit. Right there, perfect. All right, now what we're gonna do, whenever you're ready, look down. Yep, there, you're just out of frame, come into frame just a little bit, right there. You're gonna turn, ready, go. So we're just creating a little bit of motion, and you can do some pretty cool stuff with this. I think I showed you, let's go back to the keynote for a second. This was probably after about 50 tries. So it's just a matter of tweaking it to get that motion. But it was done the exact same way. We had these same two lights, just one of them had a gel on it. And it's all about repeating that motion and getting the hair in the exact right spot. And actually, it looks a little bit different on my screen here, too, than it does on the TV. It picks up a little bit more of the ghosting.